Welcome to a world where hope is scarce and survival is a daily battle. British cinema plunges us into the darkest corners of human imagination, where after the apocalypse, all that remains is instinct and the will to live. In this list, you'll discover the 12 most intense, terrifying visions of the end of the world straight from the UK. Brace yourselves for emotions that will shake you to the core. Number 12. The Day of the Triffids. The world is gripped by a nightmare when almost all of humanity is blinded by a mysterious astronomical phenomenon. In this sudden darkness, a new, deadly life form begins to take over. Triffids, monstrous plants that can move and kill, begin to prey on defenseless lost victims. People, deprived of sight, become easy targets for these bloodthirsty creatures, whose toxic stingers can kill with a single blow. Chaos and horror grow with each passing moment as the surviving groups try to survive in a world where the most ordinary plant turns into the worst nightmare. The future of the human race hangs in the balance, and every step could mean a brutal death in the jaws of these monstrous creatures. Number 11. Doomsday. A deadly virus breaks out in northern Britain, turning thousands of people into bloodthirsty beasts. The authorities, desperate, cordon off the entire area with a wall, leaving the infected to die in chaos. Years later, the virus unexpectedly returns, but this time outside the zone. The only way to save humanity is to send elite soldiers deep into the closed zone, where those who survived have become savage, degenerate tribes. Their world is a terrifying hell full of atrocities, where every second is a struggle for survival. Darkness hides unspeakable monstrosities, and hope for rescue begins to drown in a sea of blood and fear. Number 10. Pandorum. The story is set in the future, when humanity is forced to leave its planet due to overpopulation and resource depletion. In the abyss of space, on a giant colonization ship, two men wake up from hibernation, remembering nothing, neither their mission nor their own identities. The claustrophobic corridors are dark, the silence broken only by metallic sounds from deep within the ship. As they try to make sense of what has happened, they discover that they are not alone. Among the cold walls lurks something inhuman, something that lives in the shadows and devours everything in its path. Slowly they realize that the evil lurking on the ship may be worse than their worst nightmares, and that what is happening to the crew is no accident. A mysterious disease is turning people into monsters, both physically and mentally. Number 9. Dead Set. In the face of the apocalypse, the world descends into chaos as the dead come to life, and the hunger for their decaying bodies is directed at the living. In this terrifying world, a group of people find refuge in an unusual place, a TV studio where a reality show is being taped. The show's participants are cut off from reality, unaware of the monstrous threat lurking just beyond the walls. As their world begins to collapse, the streets turn into an inferno, and the dead fill the spaces. Their chances of survival diminish with each passing moment. Everything that was once entertainment now becomes a nightmare in the open. The audience's desire is replaced by only one thing: survival, and the claustrophobic atmosphere of the studio becomes a death trap. The contestants must face not only a brutal battle against a horde of the undead, but also their own dark instincts, which emerge when death lurks behind every door. Number 8. Dredd 3D. In the future, the world has turned into a terrifying ruin. Cities are suffocating concrete prisons where the only law is brute force. Chaos rules the streets, and crime has reached unimaginable levels. At the heart of this hell, great metropolises stretch for hundreds of miles, built of gigantic, ghastly apartment blocks where every day is a struggle for survival. In these dark slums, a new power has been born: the judges, who are simultaneously judge, jury, and executioner. They dispense justice without mercy, and their verdicts are final. The most fearsome of them is Dredd, a relentless and ruthless enforcer of the law. In a closed, claustrophobic space where the walls seem to scream, every corridor becomes a trap, and every decision a death sentence. It's not a fight for the law, it's a slaughterhouse, where the human soul dies before the body does. Number 7. Outcasts. On a distant planet, in a harsh, unforgiving world, humans are trying to build a new civilization after fleeing a dying Earth. Their future was supposed to be a hope for survival, but instead they face untold dangers. Each step on the unknown planet could be their last, as something dark and mysterious lurks in the shadows. As tensions rise, they discover they are not alone. Something that was supposed to be a refuge becomes a nightmare, where both human weaknesses and the forces of the unknown are ready to destroy them. Number 6. Shaun of the Dead. Shaun is a man trapped in a daily monotonous life, without much ambition or energy. His days pass in the shadow of mediocrity, and each successive day is the same as the previous one. But when the world begins to burn in the fires of a zombie apocalypse, Shaun faces a terrifying challenge. An ordinary man, so far not very successful in life, must now face a nightmarish reality. All around him, friends and family begin to die, and then rise from the dead, hungry for his blood. Shaun, lacking preparation and experience, is drawn into a desperate struggle for survival. But how is a man who couldn't control his own life supposed to save himself and his loved ones from a bloodthirsty horde of the undead? In this ghastly game, any mistake means death. Number 5. Monsters. For 6 years, Earth was no longer the same. A mysterious space probe crashed in Central America, unleashing unknown life forms that, over time, took control of vast areas. In an infested zone stretching for thousands of kilometers, the alien creatures began to evolve, and their destructive power grew with each passing day. Governments set impassable borders, isolating these areas from the rest of the world. Cities collapsed, and those who tried to survive in this new reality became victims, pursued by the giant, incomprehensible creatures. People were helpless, and death lurked at every turn. In the midst of this dark chaos, a photographer is forced to make his way through the zone with the daughter of his boss, trying to escape the hell that humanity itself has brought to Earth. Every sound, every shadow could mean the end. Number 4. Mutant Chronicles. In a dying world, where wars and technology have brought humanity to the brink of extinction, an ancient evil has awakened. Deep underground, a machine that turns people into grotesque mutants is beginning to work, turning them into soulless, bloodthirsty beasts. With cities engulfed in endless battles, an elite group of soldiers embarks on one last, desperate mission to destroy the machine and save the world from total destruction. Major Mitch Hunter, war-weary and full of doubts, commands a handful of warriors, each carrying their own demons. Nathaniel, a swordsman monk, fights in the name of a long-forgotten faith, while Matilda, cold and ruthless, walks towards inevitable death. Together, they venture deep into a dark fortress full of monstrous mutants, delving deeper and deeper into a labyrinth full of darkness and horror with each passing moment. Number 3. The Girl with All the Gifts. The world has descended into chaos. Humanity is nearly extinct, destroyed by a mysterious fungus that turns people into mindless, bloodthirsty creatures. At the heart of this apocalypse, in a grim laboratory, children are kept, children who are not like others. Though infected, they retain consciousness and intelligence. It is in them that the key to the future lies. But some of these children hide something darker. Melanie, a seemingly innocent little girl, carries a deadly secret. To the world, she may be hope, but at the same time, she is the personification of the end. Every day, she is subjected to brutal experiments, unaware that her gentle nature could give way to a savage beast at any moment. As everything around her begins to collapse and people die in increasingly horrific circumstances, Melanie must decide who she really is, a survivor or a monster who will contribute to the annihilation of what's left of humanity. Number 2. The Survivalist. In a world that has collapsed, where humanity is but a shadow of its former power, a lonely man lives on the edge of the forest. His life is a daily struggle for survival, where each day could be his last. The land has become a wasteland, and hunger and mistrust make every person he encounters a potential enemy. When a woman and her daughter show up on his doorstep one day, begging for shelter, tensions rise. One can't be sure of anything. Are they victims or something much worse? Every step, every whisper can herald betrayal, and the line between survival and monstrosity becomes increasingly blurred. This is a world where there is no room for mercy, and the slightest mistake means death. Number 1. 28 days later. The deserted streets of London, once bustling with life, are now shrouded in a silence that sears to the marrow. The world came to a standstill after a deadly virus spread with lightning speed, turning people into wild, raging beasts. Mindless, driven only by bloodlust, they prey on anything still alive. In just 28 days, humanity has been reduced to a handful of survivors, struggling to survive in a place where every shadow can conceal deadly danger. Jim, who wakes up in the hospital after a coma, discovers that the whole world as he knew it is gone. Disoriented, he wanders through empty corridors, and every moment leads him closer to unimaginable horror. Together with a group of survivors, he tries to find shelter, but in this new world, where every step could be the last, the biggest threat is not just the infected. I hope you found something intriguing here. The UK delivers unique stories with unmatched atmosphere and depth. What are your favorite British post-apocalyptic films or series? Share in the comments and let us know what you would add to the list.